And I'll invite Dr. Wade, who's the Director of the SME and Entrepreneurship from Deakin University, who's going to do the first keynote for 15 minutes.
Thank you very much. 15 minutes.
Yes. Yeah.
Senator Henderson, I just have to explain before you left.
Yes.
The reason I went yes is because employability is the focus of my presentation.
Oh, right.
So I'm talking on behalf of Deakin University,
Yeah.
and the focus is bring together
Right.
our students in employable situations. So bring them together with industry experience so that they become more employable and can quote industry experience as part of their resume when they're applying.
You have to send me a copy. I'm sorry that. Sorry, I can't say. But no, that's wonderful. It's.
So that was why the.
Yeah,
Yes.
right. No, it's a huge issue.
Firstly, let me start with, can everybody hear through the room? I'm used to projecting to hundreds of students.
Just have a mic, then you've got.
Okay. So I'll probably project too much now. Okay, thank you very much. Firstly, I'd like to acknowledge the SBAA and the partnership that we've entered into with Anne Nelder and her team with the SBAA. Thank you now. Lead up to the sponsorship and the ongoing relationship between the two organisations. So, Anne, thank you very much for that.
My pleasure.
And
I'll be back.
I'll send you a copy as well. Okay, my role with Deakin University is with business school, and my responsibility is around SMEs and entrepreneurship. And one of the responsibilities that I have is to develop and deliver the Business Development Clinic. Now, the Business Development Clinic is around connecting theory with practice. So in SME and entrepreneurship education is bringing together the students when they're learning with the practitioners. Is our little clicker working?
Just call it in and out sometimes.
Yeah. Gee, I hope it doesn't go the way it went for you, Roger, yesterday. You handled that so professionally.
You just have to keep going.
Yeah, I know.
You're going back.
I'm using the visuals. Okay, terrific, thank you. Okay, so the Business Development Clinic. It's a pedagogical innovation providing students with industry experience working with SMEs, small to medium enterprises. So we bring together the students whilst they're going through the unit that they're studying and working together with what we call live case studies. So we're designed as a comprehensive business experience. Students develop an entrepreneurial mindset while applying academic learning in real time. So the whole idea is for them to experience what it takes to develop a business operation, but not just through a simulated case study. A lot of case study work at business schools happens where students are presented with a complete set of data. They're told to analyse that and present solutions. We work with live case studies, small businesses, so that the students get to analyse what the business is about, get to understand what it is to run a small to medium-sized enterprise. I'd like you all to have a look at this image on the screen. There's two young kids there. Now, these kids are not sitting in a suitcase. They're not pretending to be aviators. You have a look in these eyes of these children. They are up in the clouds. They're flying. They're experiencing what it is to be an aviator. This is what we work with our students, self-efficacy. Our job is to bring them past the point of theorising into the point of seeing themselves as business owner operators. And we're pretty successful at it so far. The testimony, the references we have, this one is a particularly good one. This student, of all the units I did across my degree, the business clinic was the most practical and engaging one. Practical underlined. It really pushed me out of my comfort zone and it taught me things about business and myself that I would not have learned otherwise. And we have many, many of these sorts of testimonies from students. Now, what I'd like you to do if I can have your permission, is I'd like you to play a small game with me, just a short game. To do that, I'm going to ask you all to stand up. I ran this exercise in San Diego with a whole bunch of old academics. And afterwards at coffee, they all said, I love that part where you had to stand up. Now, what I'd like you to do, have a look at the screen. Can you all read the numbers on the screen? Okay, your job individually is to find the numbers sequentially from 1 through to the highest number you can see in 30 seconds. Now, I'm going to start the clock. This is your job. Find 1, 2, 3, up to the highest number you can in 30 seconds. Go. Okay. Is everyone past 1? 30 seconds is up now. So, thank you very much. Anne, what number did you get to?
I came in just now, so.
So we have somebody who made it to 1. What number did you make it to? To 1? 50. You made it all the way through to 50.
I jumped.
Okay, we do have to explain sequence to some students. Any other numbers? What numbers did we get to? Number 7, 9, 6. Up this end of the room? 9, good number. 9, terrific. Now, what I'd like you to do, this is a big challenge. I'd like you to remember that number that you reached personally. Grab a seat and we'll continue the presentation. Hang on to that number and I'll come back to it. What was your number? 18, good number. You're close to the head of the class. 9, okay. How did you guys go? 15, 13, that's a good number. Joe, how'd you go? 18, excellent number. Okay. All remember how far you got in that counting exercise, okay?
0.
Now listen, the Business Development Clinic was where we take student teams, engage them with SME owner managers. So the business health check is the first thing that they do. They need to analyse the business and they need to come up with a health check to say this is what the business is doing. Now, given that we're focusing on SMEs, the focus of the students' work is on maximising revenue and profit. So we don't go into full industrial level businesses, but we focus on SMEs. So they do a health check, they analyse the operations of the business, they research the industry, and they come up with strategic insights for the SME owners. Now, SME owners typically don't really have the time or necessarily the expertise to do strategic work on their business. So it's offering them something new and fresh. So from there, we recommend tactics to grow revenue and profit for that business. In the Business Development Clinic, and this is the reason for that levers image on the front slide, what we do, working with live case studies, the students actually analyse and determine the issues to work on. Now, a lot of interface between business and students is where the business turns up and says, I've got this issue, can you give me a solution? But our students go into the SMEs, work with the owner managers, they determine what the important issues are, and then they focus on one that they work with. So we use something called the 7 levers framework. The SBAA partnership is an important part of this. We ran some webinars recently. We had over 60 small businesses register for the webinar where we introduced this program. My work integrated learning office rang me after and said, what have you done? We've been inundated with calls from small business wanting to join the program. So the partnership is already very productive. And for the first time, the one we've just finished, we actually have international businesses. We had a veterinary surgeon in Mauritius take part in the business development clinic. What I'd like you to do now is imagine this. I'm running out of breath trying to keep it down to 15 minutes, Anne. Yes, please, I'd love one. Okay, what I'd like you to do with these numbers we just went through, I'd like you to imagine we have a framework for approaching the task. Then what I'd like you to do is think about the fact that we'd introduce a methodology. Thank you.
That's just that. That's right. We've got time because Andrew will be running late.
Oh, okay.
It's going to be good, yeah. Yes.
You've got to work hard to keep students' focus and attention and engagement. I worked the room, and when I was an undergraduate, I developed an allergy to podiums. I hated people standing behind those things and telling me what I had to know. So we work with the students, we work with the businesses. So we have a framework to approach this task. We have a methodology from 1 to 2 in those 2 sectors. We move then to 3 to 4 to 5, and you can see a methodology emerging. So you don't need to stand up this time, but what I'd like you to do is take 30 seconds, starting from 1 and moving sequentially upward, and see what number you can get to using this methodology and this framework. 30 seconds now.
Oh.
Are you numbering? Have I got your attention?
I'm bottom of the class.
Okay, we're getting to the end of 30 seconds. 3, 2, 1, stop. Now, can I ask you, when I point you out, can you tell me the 2 numbers? The first one you got to, and the one you got to using a framework and a methodology. How did you go?
6 and 25.
6 and 25. Growth, success, improvement.
I'm 9 and 29.
9 and 29. You're on one of the top 3 stands for the winners for the session so far. In the back of the room, can I ask you? 8 and 28. So we're starting to see a pattern of what I'm trying to get across here. Can I ask you what numbers you got?
1 and 15.
Fantastic. Can I have a round of applause? 1 and 15. Thank you very much. So you see, what we work with the students then is how to use a framework to effectively analyse a business and to work out where the most effective action can be taken to improve a business's revenue and profit. We use something here called the 7 levers canvas. Pardon me. It's an award-winning tool designed for SME strategic planning. And it's designed to be as straightforward and simple as possible because small business doesn't have the time and the resources to spend on strategic planning systems and processes. So it's designed to be captured in one screen. And we talk about the sales process, how to improve profits and revenues with average items per sale, transactions per customer, and we finish off there with margins. So it equips tools with a robust analytical tool set and empowers clients working with the students to develop strategic insights into how they can lift their revenue and their profit. And then the students develop tactics to drive profit growth. So at the end of the process, the students have a presentation overview, a written report, and an implementation plan with budget to present to the clients, to develop with the clients. Now, this is one that's just finished on Friday last week. A young group developed, would you believe, a plan for a web development business on how they could use the web to develop their business. So they came up with strategies and tactics that the business had not thought of previously in which to lift their revenues and their profits. So those young students sitting in the suitcase, bright-eyed, imagination, creativity, innovative ways of seeing the world is what we try and bring here into this process. So students, they practice analytical and consulting skills while gaining industry experience that enhances their profitability, their employability. And that's the reason when Sarah Henderson said universities aren't focusing on employability. Deakin recently introduced an employability strategy, which is permeating the whole university and the way they work, with a keen focus on lifting students' employability. So when they go out for work, after having done this work with SMEs, they are able to say, I have industry experience. I've worked with a group, pulled them together, a team. I led them through an analysis process. We had interaction with the client. We developed and delivered strategies and tactics. The business has adopted that through our implementation plan, and in the last 12 months, lifted their profitability by 10%. That's the perfect story. Now, this is something that's really interested me, something that's sort of emerged over the last couple of years. The gentleman here runs a business called Oh Crap. Have you all heard of him? It's been on television recently. The growth of this firm, they were in one of the Financial Review's Fast 500 lists of companies. This is Henry Reith. He's the CEO. And Henry, after that experience with our students, has said, I'm thankful the Deakin Business Clinic introduced the 7 Levers framework to our business. We will still be using it as the backbone of what we do, hopefully all the way up to that $100 million. The bags are compostable. They collect dog crap. So his ads are really interesting. But he went through this process at the early stages of his business with our business development clinic, and he cites that insight for his, well, for helping his business. So, business development clinic brings students and small businesses and they learn together. So the insight I took away is we're not just teaching our students, we're actually one by one teaching small business strategic planning and how to focus on the 7 key areas and take action that will impact their revenue and their profit. Thank you very much. I'm out of breath now.
Anyway, can I call everyone in the panel session to come up? So we have Jane Fahy, who is speaking next, but then also if Joe Ingold could come up.